How's it going, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Fortius, and today I'm going to be talking about travel insurance. This essentially means that when you plan to go travel outside of the country, either for business or just vacation, it gets rid of the financial burden if something were to happen to you. An example would be the medical bills or if any emergencies come up, and that's when travel insurance would help you out in those expensive costs. An example I could give would be when I traveled in Peru back in 2023. Had I not gotten travel insurance, I would have been paying a lot of medical bills up until now because I did an international flight travel in Peru and they charged me around, just for staying in the hospital for a day, around $5,000 US, not including all the other expenses that I had to take and the treatment. So that basically added up to almost 40,000 plus US. So that's why for me it would be good to get travel insurance wherever you would travel. As a person that I am now, I didn't think I would get sick, but I did. So, just for more context, I was hit with high altitude sickness. I didn't think I would get it because I'm like, oh, I'm healthy. I work out, but it does not work that way. It can hit you like anyone else, just like how COVID can affect anybody, no matter how healthy they are. So, just to remind you again, travel insurance, it covers medical bills, any lost luggage, trip cancellations, emergency evacuations, and even your death or any dismemberment. And just to make sure, if you have any pre existing conditions or have any regular checkups, that will not be covered in your travel insurance unless, of course, you get a special type of coverage depending on the companies that you decide to work with. Another thing you might think about is getting rental car insurance. So for me, this was back in 2020 something, before 2023. I do not know the exact date on my mind right now, but it's when I rented a car. I decided to get rental insurance when I went to Mexico because I heard apparently there's people who party and they could possibly vandalize your car if they're drunk or not if you decide to go drive to the beach. And I also learned that there was a lot of potholes. So, good thing I got that car insurance, especially for the rental, because I went through a pothole too fast and then the tire popped. So that means that I had to get the insurance company to come help me out, replace the tire, and I was all good. Had I not gotten that type of insurance, I would be paying around 6 times to 8 times more price that I paid for the insurance. Now, if we move to the types of insurance, there's four mainly, and that would be if you travel by yourself or have single insurance or you're doing a single trip, or there's the one where you plan to go on multiple vacations throughout the year. That's where you would need a multi-day travel insurance. Then, of course, there's adventure travel insurance. That's basically if you plan to go on anything like, let's say, skiing or snowboarding, any higher risk type activities, that's when you would go get it. And then the last one is cruise insurance. And basically, cruise insurance is if you need medical coverage on the cruise, that's when you would get it. And also there's the delays and or the medical evacuations. And next, you're probably thinking of the cost. So there's the factors that come in. There would be around 5 of them. That would be the age, travel length, the destination, pre-existing conditions, and the last one is the coverage amount. So depending on those 5 factors, it could range from maybe $20 for your trip to maybe 1,000. One of those cases would be if you plan to do a multi-travel type. Okay, now let's move on to the other things that are not covered in travel insurance. So there was the one I mentioned earlier, which was pre-existing conditions. And then another one would be if you do sports that are super high risk or extreme, could be like scuba diving or skydiving. So there's that. And then another would be if you decide to take alcohol or take drugs, and if something were to happen to you during that time, it may not be covered. And then another one is the government travel advisories. So you can search up online to check where like it's safe to travel or not. And if you see that it's not safe to travel there, you may not get coverage if you decide to go to that country, your choice. So by now, you're probably wondering the best way to choose the best travel insurance for you. There's essentially 3 steps, and that is to decide what you need, compare providers, and of course, the last one is to read the fine print. And if you're ever unsure on something, you can always call your provider and call them, get more specific details about your coverage to make sure that you would get the coverage that you need. The last thing is that there's also credit cards that offer travel insurance. So if you have that, then that's good, but it's also good to make sure that you know how much you're covered for. So it's good to always call the company, check how much you have, and then also if you are working and you're part of a group benefits from your company, it's also good to check on them, make sure you get the specific details on how much you're covered on. Because if not, that would be good if you bought another separate insurance for yourself. So, final thoughts. If you're going to ask me if travel insurance is worth it, speaking from experience, I would say yes. And maybe before anything happened to me before, I did not think much about travel insurance. Maybe because I was young, still young, of course. But if I had not gotten that travel insurance back then when I traveled to another country internationally, the hospital bills are pretty high when it comes. So, I mean, you could play it very safe, stay as safe as possible, but you also want to have fun. So, if you're willing to just spend a little to make sure that if anything were to happen, you wouldn't have to pay big bills, then I'd recommend insurance. But if you're sure that you don't need insurance, you don't need to pay anything, then it's up to you. But I'd say it's up to the person to do their due diligence, research what they need, and the places they're traveling to. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching this video and staying this long. I hope that you learned something from this, and if there's anything you think that I can improve on, I'm still new to this YouTube thing, please let me know down below. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, and of course a subscription is much appreciated. If you have any questions at all, just leave them down in the comments below. And I also have a Calendly link that you could click if you want to talk more about it, and if you're looking for any travel insurance, I can help you out with that. And I am of course based in Canada, so if you're in the US, I'll still try my best to help you out, and we can go from there. Anyways, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.